Welcome back to Career Center. I'm Kimberly White, Executive Director of the Community Career Center. So before we left, we were talking about, you've got the interview now, what? I just want to ask one question before we go on to the next question here. What's the best interview question you like to hear from a job seeker, and if someone that you're interviewing?
Sure. I like when they ask about the future of the company. You know, maybe they'll say, like, where do you see Dealer Inspire in the next 5 years? I think that really makes me think that they're ambitious and that they're looking ahead, and they are thinking about staying there in one place to grow their career. What about you, Tim?
Yeah, I would say that's a good one. I've gotten that before. You know, aside from the typical questions about benefits and things like that, you know, you'll get those kinds of things. No, that's fair, right? I think they like to know about career advancement. They like to know about what kind of things they'll be working on, what the clients are like. You know, because those are the people they're going to be talking to the most, right? Or what the coworkers are like. When people come in to our place, everyone gets up and shakes the person's hand, looks them in the eye, says what they do, they introduce themselves. We do the same thing with prospects when they walk in the door. Everyone gets a chance to meet the team of who you might be working with, because that's important, right? You're going to come into a fishbowl and you're the new fish, and it's going to be weird, right? Everyone's uncomfortable on their first day, so we try to warm that up. Even in the interview process. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least it gets them excited about us. At that point, it's just as much of a sales job that we have to sell our company to them as it is they have to sell themselves to us. And so it's important. So I like to see, even if they ask questions, that's a good sign. Rather than just sit there and be the one fielding the questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Having a favorite question, that would be one of my favorites, but it is extremely important that they're inquisitive and curious about the organization and their job particularly.
Before we go on to, I said I was going to do one question, but I have one more. What makes an interviewee stand out to you all? What one thing? I mean, other than being prepared.
I like when they give. So we ask a lot of questions. Some are unorthodox, but I like when they both answer the question, they explain why, and then give an example. That's what really helps me see that they have that real life experience, and also when they're critical thinking. You know, they can exhibit that.
For me, it's how they appear in the interview. They should dress up. I should see them at their best.
So even if you're a casual environment, you expect them to come in a suit.
They don't because they don't know. Unless I tell them ahead of time, hey, it's laid back. You know, I've been advised kind of against saying that. I used to do it that way because like we'd wear jeans or whatever, and it was laid back. Maybe we were wearing t-shirts or whatever. I kind of want to see them at their best. You know, and then from there we could scale down. I mean, it's no problem. I mean, you've seen our uniform. We wear polos with our logo on it and dress pants or jeans or whatever. So we're pretty laid back. But you want to see how they're going to be the best at their best. That's important.
And you also you have dog day or something.
We do. Yeah, we have that. That's a big culture thing. We have dogs running around. So we don't have the dogs on the interview days, but because you don't know if they're afraid or whatever. And God forbid somebody gets bit or something, which they don't because we have friendly dogs. But yeah, you want to know. You want to see that they care about their appearance and how they represent you. That's important.
All right, so you've gone through the interview process. You've offered the job. What are some of these expectations that people should have once they've landed the job in either with your company or just in general? One of the things we like to share at the Career Center is make sure you're the person that they interviewed. Meaning, you know, if you went in there, you know, looking one way, you don't want to go back in there with your hair shaved and, you know, not being that person. So make sure that you're that person. What are some things that you guys expect?
I would agree as well that we want to make sure that they're the same person that they represented, right? But for us, we want to make sure people are asked questions. It's a very fast environment, so you need to be a seeker of information. Somebody might not notice that you don't understand something. So we need to make sure that you're taking that initiative to ask questions. So I think that that's what we're looking for, is to make sure people continue to be curious and inquisitive.
Don't go in on day one thinking you know it all.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of expectations even on our side, right, to make sure the processes are in place. We have good documentation, that they ask questions, they want to know how to do their job so they can get ramped up as quickly as possible. You know, of course, you'd like to see that they show up on time, right? We put them, you know, we do get out paperwork ahead of time. Hey, fill this out ahead of time, you know, like your payroll information and, you know, whatever, so that we can kind of hit the ground running with it, get all that paperwork out of the way. But then right away, you know, we get you on some sort of a roadmap to success, whether it's sales or technology. It's either 30 days or it could be 2 weeks or whatever. We put you through some things, right? Like we get you logged in, then you watch a bunch of videos on our main application that we use, our various things, tools and gadgets that we use to support the various endpoints, you know, across the board. Understand how to log into this, how to log into that. You know, we put you through a pretty regimented, at least first week. So your day's already kind of planned out for you. And then at that point, you know, depending on the position at that point, you know, maybe we, you know, send you out in the field with somebody and you can shadow a little bit. And, you know, we kind of want to get you going, but at the same time, we also understand it's important not to just throw people into the fire because they may blow up. So you want to kind of take that into consideration and ease them in nicely.
Do you assign a mentor or like a teammate to kind of help them through that process?
We do. We do have. We don't have a formal mentor program in place, but we do match new employees up with with somebody for sure. And very similar to onboarding. You know, beforehand we do all the paperwork. We get all that kind of outlined and kind of out of the way, and then when they start, they have 2 days of company orientation. So 2 days that they're actually with the people operations team, which is a nice way of saying human resources. They're with us for 2 days. Then they're off to their teams, and then each department has their own training curriculum. The sales team, for example, has 2 weeks of intense training, whereas the developers, they're kind of partnered up, depending on what level they come in at, to shadow probably for a good 30 days before they're on to their own projects.
Right. The idea is to get them as comfortable as possible.
Yeah.
You know, everyone knows what it feels like to be the first day on the job. It's nerve-wracking. You're excited, but you're nervous at the same time. You know, you don't know how they're going to treat you, and that's why even in the interview process, you get to meet a good bunch of people, and you get a good feeling kind of going into it. And then when you show up for the first day, you know, the same thing. You know, there's 1 or 2 guys that will kind of take you under their wing a little bit, and help you out, and make you feel at home and comfortable. Here's where everything is, and you know, here's where the food is, right? Here's where the fridge is, you know, all that good stuff. And then you know, and at that point, I think we've got such a small team that right out of the gate, you know, we'll start then even teasing, and we warn them even in the interview process. Hey, if you're sensitive to like some ribbing,
you don't have thick skin.
you know, we're a lot of fun, right? We don't take ourselves too seriously. We crack jokes at each other's expenses, and if you can laugh, and and we do a lot of that, take the edge off. You know, we bring in lunch.
Which is good.
I bring in lunch quite a bit. You know, so we eat and stuff like that, eat together, and that's important. It usually generally hasn't had a problem for people to feel at home.
What about, I know we often talk about a 30, 60, 90-day plan. So do you all kind of help them create that plan, or do you expect them to kind of have a plan put together before they come up?
We definitely do. From a people operations standpoint, we expect that from our departments. So there definitely are checkpoints in over the 30-day mark, the 60 and the 90. And then just as a recruiter, just personally, I usually check in myself just to make sure everybody's feeling good and feeling acclimated. Again, it's a very fast-paced environment. So we don't want them to get lost in the shuffle. We want to make sure that they are confident enough and they're asking the right questions, and they know that they can always come to people operations or ask another team member. You know, anybody in the organization, everybody's always willing to help.
Right.
And we're small enough still where everything is noticed. Our doors are always open, whether it's Matt's or mine, and you can get in and talk. And we're constantly talking to you, probably every day. How are things going? How you doing? You know, so we don't necessarily set. I would say we don't really have timeline goals, 30, 60, 90. We do have a roadmap to success to get you trained, right? And that, you can call that a probationary period or whatever at that point, depending on the package, depending on what your position is, you'll get a cell phone or you'll get, of course you're going to get a computer, a laptop, something like that. But yeah, we definitely have expectations in the first 30 days of this is kind of where you're going to be, and it's up to us to lay out that roadmap, and mostly it's training. And at that point, you kind of see where you are, but
we want to help everybody be successful,
for
without
sure.
a doubt.
It's an investment. It's a lot of work. Hiring is hard, and it's especially when the talent pool is pretty limited right now. You know, with a low unemployment, it's hard to find good people.
Right.
And so when you do get them, you know, you really don't want to let them go. You don't want to fail that person, because it's a failure on me too, and then I have to start all over again. And so it's important that I do my part. It's not always about them. It's am I succeeding as well?
Right.
Yeah, for us as well, it's like, you know, we have client retention and satisfaction is a number one goal, but an equal match is employee retention and employee satisfaction. So what we do as well is like we make sure that there's opportunities. Like once you've been with us for a year, we have a program called Grow. And so if you're doing good in your current position, any of the open positions that are out there, you can look at those and apply for those.
After a year.
After a year. Okay. If you're successful in your current position for a year, then you can apply for other opportunities. Yeah, and we also navigate talent. If we see a need in one department and we know somebody's really great at that, we recognize that, and, you know, we can ask them if they're interested in those opportunities.
That is a great point.
Yeah.
Self-investment, huge. Especially with sales or techs. Like that's one thing I'll ask them. I'll ask them a lot of times. So get back to the interview for a minute. I'll ask them like, what kind of books have you read?
Right.
And really, what part of that book did you like?
Yeah.
To see, you know, if you're just rattling off titles, right? Especially if it's sales or a technology type thing. If I see self-investment where they're going out and they're getting certifications or they're getting more training, that is huge because it shows me that you really care about your own personal development. And if our goals and your goals are aligned, you're going to go places with me. Like it's going to be awesome.
Right.
And so there's that. Also, like you were kind of saying about internally, just like team building and stuff. I think, you know, it's not always about the customer. It's about if you take care, if the employees are happy and they have a good place to work, they're happy, they're treated well, that directly turns into the customer experience.
Yeah,
the customers are treated well when your employees are happy. And so that's another thing that, you know, we have to make sure that we live up to our end of that deal too.
Yeah. I think too, talking about the interview questions, just about learning that self-improvement. One of the questions that we ask is, what's the last thing that you learned? You know, so we want to know that people are consistently learning. We'll also ask about what credentials they have, you know, as far as certifications and awards, things of that nature. At Dealer Inspire, everyone is Google Analytics certified, as well as majority AdWords certified. So when I ask, you know, when I talk a little bit about that, if they come back to the next interview as well, and they have that certification, or they know when they start they have that certification, that's a really...
Tell me about a failure that you had on a project.
That's always good.
Don't throw anybody else under the bus.
Yep.
Right.
That is a no-no.
No way.
That's a no-no. You have to have ownership.
Yeah.
It's ownership.
That's important.
Absolutely. And
we are out of time. But before we go, please share your websites if you could.
Absolutely. So it's dealerinspire.com.
Dealerinspire.com.
And we're Magnitech.com, Magnitech.com.
Well, Michelle and Tim, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
For joining me on this month's edition of Career Center. And to our television audience, if you're unemployed, underemployed, or seeking a career change, visit the Community Career Center at 1815 West Dill Road, Suite 900 in Naperville, or search us on the web at communitycareercenter.org to learn more about the resources available to you as you search for your next success. Thanks so much for watching.